So let's look at being able to do some different operations with radicals. And before we do that, I'm going to throw up a couple little rules. It's called the product rule. Square root of a times square root of b equals the square root of a times b. And we were already kind of using this. We've used this before. This idea of, if it's together, you can pull it apart. And then going the other way, if it's pulled apart, you can pull it together. If it's multiply or divide. Square root of a divided by square root of b is square root of a divided by b. So this is called the product rule. And this one is called the quotient rule for radicals. And I'm writing it as a square root, but this applies to cube roots, fourth roots, any root. But I'm just generalizing it with the square root here. So we'll use this with the next few examples. So let's say I've got square root of 75 plus square root of 12 plus square root of 54. Okay, so now these are added. So notice with added, you can't just put them together. Here, what I was showing you is multiplied. When they're multiplied together, you can do so, but not when it's added. So right now, I can't do anything. I can't combine anything, add them together, but each of these can be simplified, and then we'll see what happens. So 75, let's think about how 75 breaks down. This breaks down to 25 times 3. Remember, we're just looking for perfect roots. How about in 12? What perfect root is in 12? Or perfect square, I should say. Perfect square. So 4 times 3. If you're thinking, well, 2 times 6 is 12. Yeah, but you can't do the square root of 6. You can't do the square root of 2. So break it down to 4 times 3 since we can do the square root of 4. And then 54, 9 times 6 would be the best way to break that down. So now, square root of 25 is 5. So here I've got 5 square root of 3. Square root of 4 is 2. So I have 2 square root of 3. This comes out as a 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So I have 3 square root of 6, or 3 root 6. So now I could do some simplifying because notice these ones. These two can be combined. 5 square root of 3 plus 2 square root of 3 is 7 square root of 3. So as long as it's the exact same root, you can put them together. Because think of this is kind of like a little side here. If I had 5x plus 2x, we know that that's 7x. So it's like the square root of 3 is just our x. So, but it has to be the same thing. Here, 6 is not the same thing. That'd be like a y. So can't combine those. So this just comes down. So that's all I can do. This is the most simplified. All perfect squares pulled out. Any combining is done. Okay, so there's one where we're adding some roots together, radicals. How about, let's do a dividing one. So let's say I've got square root of 40x squared over the square root of 5x to the 6th. So here's one where we have division, a radical divided by a radical. We could use that quotient rule here to make things a lot easier. I could simplify this, do some work, but it's going to be quicker if I first combine these into one fraction and break this down to, with the numbers, it looks like this will divide to be 8 on top, x squared over x to the 6th. I'd be left with 4 on the bottom. Think of it, 2 of them are going to cancel on the bottom, or 2 minus 6 is negative 4. X to the negative 4th would be x to the 4th on the bottom. Okay, so now let's look at this. How can I'm doing a square root, so how can I break down 8? 8 is 4 times 2. So square root of 4 is 2, and this 2 is going to have to stay inside. On the bottom, the square root of x to the 4th is x squared. So that would be as much as I can simplify or combine. Okay, how about a multiply one? Let's do this one. In parentheses, root 6 minus 4 root 3, and parenthesis, and then a new set of parentheses, 3 root 6 plus 2 root 3. So here, I've got 2 terms by 2 terms. So this will be, I could FOIL this one to make it a little easier. So if I FOIL this, I've got square root of 6 times 3 square root of 6 is my first. Square root of 6 times 3 root 6. I'll write that out. Outer is going to be plus 2 root 6 times root 3. Let's put this in the right order. Root 6 times 2 root 3. Inner minus, I'm going to combine the 4 times 3 right away. 12 root 3 root 6. And then last, 4 times 2 is 8. Square root of 3, square root of 3. And you might be able to do some simplifying a little quicker, but. So in this first one, square root of 6 times square root of 6 is, well, that's going to be 6. Square root of 36, which is 6. So I've got 3 times 6 is 18. Plus, so I'm going to have 2 times square root of 18. 18 breaks down to 9 times 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. Square root of 2. Okay, so this I can break down that 18 to 9 times 2. Square root of 9 comes out as 3. 3 times 2 is 6. This 2 stays inside. It's going to be the same thing here. 3 times 6 is 18. 9 times 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So now I've got minus 36. Square root of 2 minus square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. 8 times 3, 24. Okay, so I could do a little simplifying, it looks like here, and typically we put the number, whole number first, and then any radicals last. So 18 minus 24 is going to be a negative 6. Plus 6 root 2 minus 36 root 2 will be a minus 30 root 2. Okay, and then that's about all I could do. And if I want to factor out a negative 6 or something to make it a little nicer, I could do that, but this should be good. About as simplified as I can go.